Dear students, welcome everybody to this our new lesson for the module in learning, cooperation and negotiation in Mediterranean, the Italian-Tunisian case study. Today we will focus on another topic related to the communication in international relations. So we will focus on how to use social media, international communication technology, and social networks generally for development through the instruments related to the international communication technology for development. So during this lesson we will link together all the communication instruments and the communication applications with sustainable development as suggested also by the Agenda 2030. So first of all, it's important to understand the challenges, but also the problems, the threats, and opportunities that the web could give to the international cooperation and also to the sustainable developments. It is important also to evaluate all the numbers of the actors that inside the international system are involved in order to use in a conscious way all the instruments related to the World Wide Web or to the international communication in general. First of all, the communication is a very important challenge to spread the data, the information among individuals and groups all over the world. At the same time, communication is a very important challenge for the international organization communication. So let's think to all the international organization that, or to the cooperative or to the other non-state actors or governments that try to have an active role inside the international system. In this sense, it is important to have a dialogue directly inside these actors, so among all the offices, among all the departments that compose international organizations and governments or non-state actors and so on and so forth, in order to have a direct and detailed plan of information very useful for the sustainable development. At the same time, we need to evaluate this word, the ECT4D, the International Communication Technology for Development. That is one of the most important actions that also the UN and the rest of the international organization are using in order to reach the goals related to the cooperation and sustainable development. For communication, we need to evaluate these key factors. First of all, individuality, so the role of the individuals and also of the groups in the communication. And so we need to consider conversation, specialization, protagonism, and transparency. Specifically, transparency is very important for the use of the data collected all over the world. You need to imagine that one of the most important elements that could be also sensible for the World Wide Web are, for example, data, information, pics, photo, and so on and so forth. So every single element that we put on the World Wide Web is an important information that could be used by other individuals or other groups. In this sense, privacy and transparency are very important, and they could be intended also as key factors or challenges. So let's try to define what is the international communication technology for development. It is, first of all, an initiative aimed at bridging the digital divide, the disparity between technology have and have not geographic location or demographic groups. This type of approach aids economic development by ensuring equitable access to up-to-date communication technologies. So we can imagine this instrument related for and to the social economic development, to the international cooperation, information and to human rights. Information and communication technologies include any communication device, encompassing radio, television, cellular phone, and also United Nations have an important program on this approach and actively promotes ECT4D as a powerful tool for economic and social development around the world. We have also to think how much is important this type of approach, for example, for job. Can you imagine how many people can work from their own home with the remote job using a smartphone or using a PC? So you need to think to this ECT4D also as an important link among individuals and group in order to develop economic issues or issues related to the jobs or to human rights. But moreover, we need to underline and to remember that the ECT4D needs an interdisciplinary approach because we need to mix together some elements and generally the know-how from, for example, the economy or the sociology or the political science or from also engineering in order to understand the potentiality of the ECT4D. So we need to mix, for example, how to implement a platform or an app, trying to establish a specific way to communicate in several languages, first of all. So try, for example, to understand the right marketing approach or the right the sociological approach to build and to design a specific platform for the World Wide Web. So let's try to think how much is composed this instrument and how much is interrelated among all these matters and these topics. Together with the challenges, we can also evaluate instruments and potentiality from the ECT for development. As we said before, information and communication technologies include any communication device encompassing radio, television, cellular phones, computer and network hardware and software, or satellite system, and so on and so forth, as well as the various services and applications associated with them, such as video conferencing and distance learning. So we have all these instruments that we use in the everyday life also translated and used for the sustainable development. And we need also to remember that as for the potentiality, these instruments allow, for example, the user to have access to collect, to produce and transit and spread information, or they reduce distances and facilitate relationships. For example, let's think to all the social networks that you can use and we can use during all the day. They facilitate the access to the knowledge and its sharing. So let's think to a lot of platforms on which we can find a lot of information, a lot of sharing information about specific ideas, specific comments. Let's think also to this e-learning platform. We can use this Moodle, so this distance learning approach in order to transmit knowledge, know-how, or to discuss on the forum about a specific topic. Specifically, moreover, they improve awareness and capacity, and also they enable choices from economic, political, environmental point of view. Let's think, for example, to all the campaigns related to environmental development or economic development, or also all the campaigns related to the sustainable development goals. They spread an information. They try to influence the behavior of groups and individuals. So in this sense, they try to influence and enable choices in the everyday life. On this slide, I take some examples of some best practices related to the ECT for development. And these best practices are related, for example, to education, to healthcare, to economy, or also to the evaluation and importance of the ECT itself. I can advise you to check on internet the websites of all these NGO or of these projects, and if you can't find them, you can find some reports, and you can evaluate the type of projects and also all the issues and the efforts that these groups have used in the medium and long term to develop the platform and the projects related to technology. We need to know also that we can find even on the website and on the www, we can find a lot of platforms related to the international organization and the UN's agencies. Specifically, one of the most important examples related to UN is the UNICEF platform and website about communication for development. We can find also some platforms from FAO, and you need to know also that United Nations have a specific agency related to the international technology and communication. It is the ITU, and it is specialized on this type of issues. Finally, together with the opportunities and challenges, together with the instrument of the ECT for development, we need to evaluate the problems and the threats that this type of approach could have on the international system and also obviously on cooperation and negotiation. First of all, the use of technology introduces unwanted effects in development projects, so we can find some important variables to the project themselves. And when we write our project, with the project cycle management, with all these instruments, we need to evaluate this type of problems that could be related to the use of technology. Secondly, we need to remember the possible higher cost of the technology related to a long-term sustainability project. So in this sense, we need to evaluate, for example, the so-called and first mentioned above digital divide, so related to this possibility for other groups and individuals all over the world to reach and to have, for example, the broadband or to have access to the information. We need also to verify the information that we can find on the platform, specifically if we use the crowdsourcing methods. With this type of approach, we can find a single person or a group that could upload some data that on a web platform or on internet or on a social network, and definitely we don't know that we don't know if this type of data and information are verified or not. So in this sense, we need to understand that the crowdsourcing method is a very important method, but because it is related to the involvement of people and individuals, but from the other side, this is definitely an opportunity, but from the other side we can occur in a problem in the term in which these data are not verified and so are not related to reality. Finally, we need to consider also the digital security issues relating to all the hacker attacks that we can receive every day. So definitely we need to be taken seriously into consideration the digital security issues and related also for the ECT for development. So on the web platform, on our web platform, you can find other research materials related to the platforms of international organizations, some data, some elements that you can use to go in depth on this topic about communication and sustainable development. So I remember you to also to do the questionnaire after the lesson, and I would like to thank you for your attention, and bye bye.